Turkey are the dark horses to win the Euros. Now, where have we heard that before? The last time out, the Euro 2020 dream quickly turned into a nightmare as they crashed out winless at the bottom of their group. But the Crescent Stars are back for redemption at Euro 2024. Having undergone a remarkable transformation under Vincenzo Montella and stormed through qualifying on the back of their strongest team in years, they'll fancy their chances of turning that old dark horse label into a reality. Will history repeat itself? Or can Turkey finally live up to the hype and surprise everyone? Turkey topped their qualifying group thanks to a strong defensive spine, which is backed up by some exciting options further forward. But their qualifying campaign could have looked very different had they stuck with Montella's predecessor, Stefan Kuntz. Following a poor start to qualifying, including a 2-0 home defeat to Croatia, a nail-biting 3-2 victory over 10-man Latvia that was only won in the 95th minute, and a 1-1 home draw to Minnows Armenia, it didn't take much for Turkey's fans to lose patience with their manager. So, in September 2023, as the nation prepared to face a crucial away game to Croatia, the Turkish Football Federation decided to sack Kuntz. Replacing him was Vincenzo Montella, who was already well known in the country, having spent the last 2 years doing a fine job managing Adana Demirspor in the Turkish Super League. The Italian immediately brought a wave of positivity, and the team have ridden that wave ever since. In his first few games, Turkey won that table-topping decider to overtake Croatia, thrashed their bogey team in Latvia, and secured top spot with a hard-fought draw against a Wales side who were still hoping to sneak into the qualification spots. And in between those games, they recorded a hugely impressive comeback win in a friendly against Germany in Berlin. Altogether, they conceded just 7 goals throughout qualifying, but then went on to ship that amount in just 2 friendlies in March this year. Given that they were friendlies, it shouldn't be too much cause for concern, and the recent goalless draw against Italy suggests Montella might well have learned some valuable lessons. In any case, Turkey should fancy their chances of advancing from a group comprising Portugal, Czechia, and Georgia. By the way, if you're enjoying the video so far, please subscribe so that you don't miss out on our future videos. Turkey's squad for the Euros is a tantalizing mix of experience and rising stars. Anchoring the midfield is captain Hakan Çalhanoğlu, fresh off firing Inter Milan to the Serie A title. Meanwhile, a trio of teenage dynamos, Arda Güler, Kenan Yıldız, and Semih Kılıçsoy provide plenty of attacking quality and the promise of a bright future. Çalhanoğlu himself has been a driving force in Turkey's resurgence. For years, it was impossible to determine what his best position was as he flitted across different midfield roles. But his transition to a deep-lying defensive midfielder this season has been a revelation. His passing ability makes him ideally suited to this role, especially in the attacking half. During the last Serie A season, he was the league's 4th most involved player in building up open-play shot-ending sequences, and, more impressively, led the way in terms of sequences that directly resulted in a goal. But Çalhanoğlu offers more than just sublime distribution. He's also a consistent goal threat, netting 13 times in Serie A this term, a tally bettered only by the likes of Cole Palmer, Phil Foden, and Jude Bellingham among midfielders across Europe's top 5 leagues. And his exemplary penalty record, 20 scored from 20 attempts across league games since 2017, is another asset that will be useful at a major tournament. With other central midfield options like Salih Özcan of Borussia Dortmund, Orkun Kökçü of Benfica, and Ismail Yüksek of Fenerbahçe, Turkey are well stocked in the middle of the park. They have plenty of attacking talent too. On the wings, Kerem Aktürkoğlu is primed to terrorize defenses after a stellar season with Galatasaray. And when you pair his trickery with the marauding runs of Fenerbahçe fullback Ferdi Kadıoğlu down the left flank, Turkey possess a deadly 1-2 punch. But the real buzz around Turkey's attack centers on the talent of Arda Güler. The 19-year-old is the undisputed poster boy for Turkey's future, though he's been limited in his international minutes so far due to a lack of playing time at club level. Last summer, Güler made the high-profile move to Real Madrid, but had to wait until January for his debut. However, in the season's final few weeks, the youngster well and truly made his mark, scoring 6 goals in 10 league appearances, despite only starting 4 of those games. In fact, among all players to score more than once in Europe's top 5 leagues last season, Güler averaged the fewest minutes per goal, a remarkable 62.2. And his 6-goal haul came from just 1.4 expected goals, showcasing his clinical edge in front of goal. Heading into the Euros, Güler will be brimming with confidence and should have ample opportunities to showcase his talent on the big stage. At the striker position, however, there is less certainty as to who will start for Turkey at the Euros. The international retirement of the legendary Burak Yilmaz a couple of years ago has left a gaping hole in their attack that has yet to be filled. Injury has ruled out potential replacements like Enes Ünal, while other candidates like Barış Alper Yilmaz and Bertok Yildirim lack the experience and goal-scoring pedigree for a major tournament. Even the experienced 32-year-old Cenk Tosun is coming off a dismal club season, managing just 6 goals in 21 starts and 12 substitute appearances. However, Turkey may have a glimmer of hope in their young talents. The 19-year-old Kenan Yıldız has burst onto the scene at Juventus, netting 4 goals in all competitions from just 2.7 expected goals, and even found the net in Turkey's aforementioned 3-2 win over Germany. Meanwhile, the 18-year-old Semih Kılıçsoy finished as Beşiktaş's top scorer with 11 goals in 20 league starts, earning himself an international debut off the bench against Italy earlier this month. These young guns could be game changers, whether from the bench or even as potential starters. And despite there not being one particular goal scorer in Turkey's front line, they can count on quality spread across the pitch to get their goals. In central defense, Çağlar Söyüncü and Ozan Kabak have been ruled out with injury, but Merih Demiral is an experienced option to partner Abdülkerim Barakçı. Between the sticks, however, there's been a space that has needed filling for a while. Altay Bayındır has barely played all season at Manchester United, while Uğurcan Çakır hasn't had the most convincing season with Trabzonspor, but may still hold off the challenge of the equally uninspiring Mert Günok of Beşiktaş. Turkey's squad may be exciting, but the country's passionate fan base across Germany could be the ace up their sleeve. Thanks to the country's sizable Turkish population, which make up its largest ethnic minority group, each of Turkey's matches will feel like a home game. The Turkish team itself boasts 5 German-born players, and the Turkish fans even outnumbered German supporters at the friendly in Berlin last year. So when they take on Georgia, Portugal, and Czechia in cities with large Turkish-German communities like Dortmund and Hamburg, they'll no doubt be buoyed by an electric atmosphere. This fan base stems from Germany's history of guest workers, Turkish immigrants who arrived during the post-war economic boom to fill labor shortages. A history of migration from places like Italy, Greece, and Croatia, and more recently, the arrival of refugees from Ukraine, mean those teams can count on local support. But none will match the fervent backing the Turks will receive from their compatriots across Germany. Turkey's record at major international tournaments speaks volumes. Euro 2024 will be their 6th European Championship. Although they were eliminated in the group stages in their last 2 appearances, the 2008 edition saw them defy odds to reach the semi-finals. Not to forget their amazing run to finishing 3rd in the 2002 World Cup, which to date is only the 2nd time they've qualified for the World Cup. For Turkey, a deep run in the competition isn't out of the question. The many question marks hanging over the team means they go into the competition with a typical air of unpredictability, but also plenty of reason to believe that this could be one of their more successful appearances at the Euros. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more football news, stories, and insights. Also, don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a beat. And with that, we'll see you in the next video.